Yo, I gotta tell you guys, I'm a little bit upset, you know, because I had a plan and I did not follow it. I kind of thought I did, but, well, the fact that I have hardly put any miles on this truck over the summer tells me I didn't follow it. I'll tell you what the plan was, I'll tell you how we failed, and how we can get better on this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speed Shop. So if you guys have been following along in this build at all, you probably know what my plan was, because the more I worked on this thing, the more I loved it, and the more I loved it, the more I worked on it, and it was awesome. It was like, I actually had a conversation with Kevin today, because, you know, I gave him a little kudos last time for being a nice guy, but he's kind of a dick today, and pointed out that I didn't finish nothing. Well, they're never finished, guys, but this guy made the tailgate tour, and well, if you guys remember when this picture right here was taken, we had a little mixed emotions because we were wondering if we were going to make it home because there was a little fuel delivery issue, but we ignored that and pushed forward, and it was a flawless execution. So we were a little worried about that, but we were so, guys, we made it. We made it all the way to Daytona. If I had to get it towed back, you know what? We made it. And I continued to drive. Guys, I didn't touch the Tundra for I don't know how long. I just drove the hell out of this thing. And then got a little warm. You guys hear those bugs in the background? That means it's hot out. That's what that means. If you live in Southern Maryland, it means it's humid and, you know, things are sticking to your leg. That's what that means. So, doesn't have air conditioning. That was a problem. So we were gonna add it. That was one of the plans, but not the plan that I screwed up, if you can believe that. So, guys, I'm walking around, I'm gonna get dizzy. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna talk about it. I promise to tell you all the things I promised to tell you in the intro. I'm trying to get my thoughts together, and I just like looking at this truck. I figure you guys wanna check it out too. You know what I mean? All right, guys, first off, the plan was super simple. To drive the wheels off of this guy. Like I said, the more I worked on it, the more I loved it, and the more I drove it, the more I loved it. It was a constant, it was pretty much like what you want a project to be. The parts are pretty readily available. I mean, actually really readily available. And it's pretty easy to work on. It's pretty easy to troubleshoot. So you just got to put in some time. And we did. If you guys remember, we missed the first tailgate tour because we put in a little bit too much time, maybe concerned about the wrong things. But that's fine because the next year we made up for it. We made it, killed it. It was awesome. Met some great dudes along the way. And, you know, we are definitely looking forward to this year's, or actually, I guess, next year's tailgate tour for 2027. So that was a simple plan, right? Obviously to do that, you got to keep up on maintenance, you got to do all that kind of stuff. Well, we sprung a little leak in the exhaust, and I ordered the part that I thought. Well, my first thing I was going to cut it off and straight pipe it, and I should have known better. I spent enough time out of this truck that wasn't going to work because the way it's all comes into one, it's a pipe like this big, and it's a whole thing. So that wasn't going to work. So once I realized that wasn't going to work, I just ordered the part that was missing. I didn't look any further back to realize that the way it would mount wasn't like that anymore because other things have been replaced. And then the more I looked at it, the heat shield was coming off the muffler. Everything was starting to rust a little bit. And it was just, you know what? Who knows how long it's been there? This thing sat in a field for a while or wherever it was. So another 150 and we got a complete full exhaust. I screwed up about 3 times there. The first one was when I was like, hey, I'm just gonna hack it off and straight pipe the cat and not care. We've done it on plenty of things. The Jeep's been running for 8 years with no cat on it. That wasn't the problem. The problem was I didn't realize how the system worked. I didn't take a good look at it, or I didn't think about it, or whatever it was. So that was number one. Number two was, I only ordered a little bit. I said, oh, I'll just get this little piece. I was being cheap, right? That's exactly what I was doing. And then number three, when I realized I needed the whole thing, I said, okay, I'll order that. I never did it. So why would I not? Guys, we say it all the time, life gets in the way. We got a lot of stuff going around the house. You know, you got to do homeowner stuff, right? And I'm not a big fan of all that stuff. Sometimes I don't mind it, but I'd rather be down here working on this or any of the other millions of projects that we have. So I got hung up taking care of stuff at the house and dropped the ball. Thought I ordered it. I had it pulled up in my cart, never clicked buy. And, well, nobody to blame but myself on that one. I tried to pawn it off on the kid, but Ole told me that wasn't the right thing to do. He's probably right. I don't like saying that. But yeah. So, one of the reasons, guys, that I let it slip my mind, right? And I could, whatever, it wasn't a priority for me for, I think, one reason. And I blame it on the housework. We've been on the road a bunch. We've been, all this kind of stuff, work, whatever. We could blame it on all that stuff. But one thing, and Kevin mentioned it earlier, that it's freaking hot in this thing. All right. Even, it's got giant windows, you open events, cool. And I was driving this thing into the beginning of summer where it was like 70s, 80s, not super humid. And yeah, it was all right. It sprung that exhaust leak. I closed the vent. It was amazing what a difference that made. But also we were coming into July and it kind of, I said before the tailgate tour, I think, I mentioned that I was going to put vintage air in this thing. And Kevin hit me up, I think it was on the side, because he tries not to talk too much trash in the comments, which, I mean, I get it. Because he doesn't, we talk to each other a certain way to where some people might be a little offended. But he says, are you really going to put air in that thing? You don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do this, all this stuff. You're going to put air in that thing? And I was like, yeah. He might have been onto something because I didn't do it. And we've spent some money around here and doing all these other kind of things. So where I could have, instead of the toolbox, I'm looking at it over here, I could have put air in it. But my priorities were in a different spot, or maybe the simplicity, guys. Like I could just jump in the Tundra and go, and it's got air in it, right? So I don't know what I do know. It's because when I didn't have anything else, I made it work. When I only had one vehicle and I was down here having to work on it, well, not down here really, but as I was coming up in the Navy and all these kind of things, as I was a kid, whatever, I had one vehicle, I had to get it going, and I didn't stop till it was done. I got a little spoiled, So I know if I don't get this done, the Tundra's sitting up there, right? Or the Jeep's sitting over here, or whatever. I can jump on the bike or whatever. And because I know that, like here, it's hurt me on a lot of things. And I think that's a reason that we've kind of walked away from a couple of projects. And guys, that's not how to, I wondered growing up, and I not even growing up, even when I was like in my 20s and 30s or whatever, like I would go, I lived in China Lake, I was in my 20s. And I'd see all these old timers with all these cars, and I'm like, how do they let that happen? You ever look outside there? I know how it happens. You get on something, you're super excited, something don't go right. Maybe you found something you wasn't planning on finding, when you first started this project, because you get a project, guys, all you want to do is, let's work on it. Let's get on it right now. And we've always been pretty good at that. And then when we start seeing things we don't want to see and things don't go right, we kind of like, we filter off and we're like, hey, let's work on the bike. Or, hey, let's, oh, look what I found, another project. Or, hey, we go work. Whatever we do, we don't continue on that project. I mentioned before, Kevin, old Wade, they're both really good at it. Brian's good at it too. He's, Brian's actually a pretty good example because he's got a ton of projects, but he focuses on, I want this one done now, and I want this one done now. And he doesn't buy 100 of them at once, which is kind of where I went wrong too. And it happens. I've seen Nick do it. I've seen Jay do it. Nick doesn't hold on to them like I do though. What Nick does is he starts them, and then that's how I got the OBS. So I ain't mad at how Nick does things, right? But there's a lot of guys I know that do it, and there's a lot of guys that just off something before they finish it, and that's no way is right or wrong. Now, I say that. Kevin will tell you that there is a wrong way to do it, and not that I'm doing it wrong, but it's frustrating, guys. It is. And the more I think about it, the more I need to just focus on finishing stuff, right? So I've ordered the part for this guy. It should be here a couple days, a week, whatever. Does that mean that the next video we're going to work on this? No, it doesn't mean that, because I got to have time to record it and do these things and work and all that. That does get in the way. I mean, I'm not saying that's the only thing, but I'm not saying I'm not the problem, all right? But, yeah, we just, we are going to get the exhaust done, and then we're going to do, I ordered a bunch of stuff, other stuff for this thing. We got a new bumper sitting over there for it. Trying to find some fog lights. I got stereo stuff coming. And I kind of want to, like I said, we're looking forward to GM Tailgate Tour 2027. Plan on bringing this guy. And, but I had it like looking like this last night. You got to do something, right? So we'll fix all those little things we want to fix. We'll make it, it's never going to be perfect. At the end of the day, it's still a shop truck, still a work truck. It's still, a 30-year-old beater. But doesn't mean we can't make it the nicest we can, and we can enjoy it, and then little creature comforts like air conditioning. I don't need all the fancy stuff. I just don't want to sweat through my shirt while I'm driving the truck. So that will be on order soon, and probably I'll be putting it in the middle of winter because that's usually how that stuff works. But I'm like this close to have Megan talked into going on the tailgate tour, and I got to bribe her a little bit, but she said, well, you plan on me going out, you better put air conditioning on things. That means she's thinking about it. So it's a win-win either way. But I think, I touched on all the things that the problems were, how to fix it. Yeah, I think we nailed it. And how to avoid it. Make your project comfortable, and I get it. Sometimes you're working on, you got this I had a 23 Model T Roadster. It was not comfortable. It was cool, but it wasn't comfortable. Did I ever drive it? No, not very often at all. So didn't matter how cool it was, I didn't like driving it. Kind of the same things happen here. I love driving this thing 3 seasons out of the year, except for the season where everybody's out driving their stuff. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? So make it comfortable, make it fit you, and you can enjoy it. You won't leave it abandoned, and maybe the front of your shop won't look like mine, to where I'm really realizing I need to change some things, and I got to make it better. We got a plan. You got to keep watching if you want to see it, though. So hopefully this helps somebody. I think it helped me. Guess we'll find out. Thanks for watching, guys.